Hey there, good morning everyone. I'm Errol Barnett in for Vladimir Duthier. The big story of the day, of course, new tariffs now in effect. We begin this hour with the sweeping round of new tariffs by the Trump administration in effect for dozens of countries. At 104% tariff is now in place on imported goods from China. That's the world's second largest economy. You've got new levies shaking up global trade, with many countries scrambling to bargain with the Trump administration about what comes next. All but China, that is, which announced just a few hours ago new retaliatory tariffs this morning on U.S. imports. Now, this morning, U.S. markets are relatively flat, but global markets are dropped overnight. The big question, though, is how will all of this affect you and me and how we spend? Let's begin our team coverage of all of this with CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, great to see you. Break down for us what this new round of tariffs means for people watching who are concerned about things they purchase becoming more expensive.
Yeah, that is a big fear that we're hearing from consumers, businesses, and investors. I mean, you just mentioned the market. So a couple of things that these new rounds of tariffs could mean. So one, prices could go up. I mean, it's the tariff is different depending on the country that we are talking about. But if you're watching at home, I mean, look around you right now, all of the things that you've purchased that aren't made in the U.S., make a mental list on your budget. What are the things that are coming from outside the U.S.? Most of that could get more expensive because when a business has to pay a 30% tariff, 104% tariff, if we're talking about China, when they are importing that good into the country, they are likely going to have to pass at least some, if not all of that, on to you or me, the consumer. The other impact, the second thing, is businesses. They're going to have to make decisions about whether they're going to source those products from other countries. They are getting it from China for a country that has a lesser tariff. Would still be more expensive, but better than 104% tariff. You're also seeing businesses think about moving production to the U.S. That takes time. That takes more money. That if they're investing those dollars, that may also be a cost that gets ultimately passed on to the consumer. And then finally, more thinking about not just the immediate day-to-day, Errol, of what you and I might see at the grocery store, but also what does that trickle through to the economy? Because when prices go up, we see potentially higher inflation, and that also means that consumers may spend less because we may have to make trade-offs in our budget. And then we might see that trickle down to a slowing economy. So it starts with what you and I see, Errol, but this could have a wider economic impact.
Yeah, it's deeper than some of the surface level numbers, and it likely will have an impact for many more days and weeks. But let's do this, Kelly, because in the past few weeks, we've been talking about tariffs. Our viewers have likely seen so many of these stories, but let's digest some of the new data today. China has increased its retaliatory tariffs up to 84% on U.S. goods. We're looking at Wall Street now, which opened with a pullback. It's making some gains, but is relatively flat. And I think there's a new data point on the fear index also creeping up. Talk to me about what that means for how long all of us will be dealing with this.
Okay, so investors don't like this back and forth. I mean, that is the long and short of it. And they especially are reacting very viscerally to any change that might mean a short-term impact. So if we see a negotiation and a deal come through when it comes to one of these tariffs on one of these countries, you could see the markets get really excited. If we get bad news, you'll see it drop very quickly. And all of that uncertainty and those big swings that we've been seeing, Errol, one way or another, sometimes more than 2,000 points in a day, that is measured by what we like to call the fear index. I know that sounds scary. I'll break it down. It's the volatility index. And what it tracks and predicts is how much uncertainty, volatility, and swings we are going to get in the market over the next 30 days. We have been hovering and sometimes even passing 50. That is important because only 2 times in history have we seen the VIX get that high, and that was in 2008 and that was in 2020. So recession and recession. That doesn't mean, Errol, and so I don't want anyone to panic here, that we are going to go into that. The economic data isn't there. What that just tracks, though, is investors are feeling similar uncertainty as they did in those periods.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because for millennials, for Gen Z, there's a lot of sentiment online that they've already experienced turmoil, economic and otherwise, in their lifetimes. But for some older folks, they might be closer to retirement. Their retirement accounts will be losing value. I know you will be part of a special report and coverage tonight on CBS News 24/7, answering people's questions. What are some of the biggest questions you're getting from family and friends?
Yeah, the 401k one is a really big one with all of this tariff uncertainty. What do I do with my money right now at different stages, right? If you're close to retirement, if you're not, how quickly am I going to see prices tick up? When am I going to see prices tick up? What does it mean when these countries are retaliating back and forth? Should I buy things now? Should I wait? So we're going to get into all of that tonight at 6 p.m. On the Daily Report.
All right, Kelly, thank you for that. And a reminder, Kelly will be part of our Money Watch team and experts answering all of your tariff questions. To submit one, take a picture of this QR code or just head to the CBS News Instagram page. You'll see a post with this image. Post your questions there, and our team will do their best to gather them and answer them tonight. So stay close to CBS News 24/7 and tune in at 6 p.m. All right, for the international perspective on this escalating trade war between the U.S. and China, let's bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio. He's following developments for us from our London newsroom. Ramy, great to see you this morning. What can you tell us about how this retaliatory tariff back and forth is being viewed where you are?
Sure. Well, looking at it from what's happening out of China, Errol, China said that it would fight to the end, and it is making good on that threat as we see today. An all-out trade war between the world's two biggest economies will begin at 12:01 Beijing time if China follows through on those mind-boggling 84% tariffs on U.S. imports. Breaking that down, remember, that's 50% tariffs today, announced today, on top of 34% tariffs announced earlier in reaction to Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent earlier on Fox Business Network today called China's move unfortunate. He said that China doesn't have the edge here and that it is a big loser for Beijing. But I need to point out here that there are many levers that China has to protect itself. So potentially the Treasury Secretary might at least only be verbally positioning the administration to try to push back that way. Also today, China has imposed restrictions on 18 U.S. companies, mostly in defense-related industries, and that is on top of something like 60 or so other American firms that have been punished since Trump announced those tariffs. So the bottom line here is that China is not backing down.
And Ramy, to your point on what the White House is saying, President Trump just yesterday was almost bragging in saying that all these different nations are now calling him and lining up, begging him, in his words, please, sir, let's make a deal. But we now see China upping its retaliatory tariffs to 84%. And we have some news coming into our newsroom now that the EU, previously saying it would wait and see, has just announced its own retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. What more can you tell us about that, if you know, Ramy, and what's the likely outcome to this? It doesn't seem like this will all be reversed in a matter of days or weeks.
Yeah, the likely outcome is a massive question mark really hanging over the world right now, because there is no known direction as to where these tariffs coming out of the Trump administration and then the reaction coming out in terms of some kind of quick knee-jerk reaction to this. With regards to the EU, yes, seeing these lines here, getting the first word, the first countermeasures against Trump's tariffs there. You see that on our screens. The 27-nation bloc has voted to slap duties, mostly of 25%, that number there, on a range of U.S. imports valued at around 21 billion euros. That's about $23 billion. This will take effect from next Tuesday and is in response specifically to Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum. So this means that the EU has voted to join the retaliation that we're seeing today from China and in the past couple of days from Canada. You mentioned earlier a little bit more about China. It appears that the trade war here is just spiraling out. China has consistently said that there is no winner in a trade war. Besson implies that China would be the loser. I got to point out, the U.S. economy is bigger, but there are reasons and good reasons to consider how China can hold on. For one, sure, China has a $300 billion trade surplus with the U.S., but it only accounts for about 3% of its GDP. Beijing right now, I'm seeing that it's weakening its currency. And the reason for this, how this is helpful for China, is that it makes China's exports valued in yuan, in the currency, of course, cheaper against other countries. There are other things that China is signaling in terms of propping up the markets, stopping the purchase of U.S. dollars. So again, China is prepared and is making its move to protect itself. I want to say, having been the China correspondent, I could see an easy mantra here coming out of Beijing saying, protect our country by China against Donald Trump. That is definitely something that they would probably be saying now across China, pushing back against Trump.
All right, Ramy Inocencio leaning into his many years reporting from China and Beijing and the region for us, reporting from London on these new retaliatory tariff measures. Ramy, great to connect with you. We'll see you again later.